sip and converse. Let's sip and converse.
Let's talk about it. Sip and converse.
How's it going? Welcome. Sip and Converse, we're back again. Mr. DJ, how's it going?
I'm doing great, Craig. How about yourself?
Can't complain, man. Glad to be in the studio once again with
Yes,
you.
sir.
Going over some topics, been celebrating a great year so far. How's everything been going for you?
Man, it's been a great year, man, but we're almost towards the end of it already.
This time has been flying. Life has been passing
Yeah.
by. As people been saying, life been lifing.
Hey, life is gonna life as long as you're living.
You gotta live so you can have life.
I done said 3 L's in one sentence.
Yeah, that's. So before we get started, make sure you guys
I be talking.
you be talking, and when you be talking, people be listening. So before you do anything any further, make sure you
Yes.
find that like button,
Ding,
that share button,
ding.
and that subscribe button.
Subscribe.
Subscribe so that you don't miss any episodes of Sip and Converse as we talk about finance, life, house building, raising kids.
We're gonna build some houses.
One day we're gonna build some houses, Craig.
Well, I might purchase a house. I don't know about getting out there with a hammer. and a
When I
nail.
say build, I'm not swinging a hammer.
Okay then.
I'm just gonna act like I'm the CEO and say, "Hey, I want this room here. I want this to look
I
like
got
that."
you. I got you.
That's building.
You right. You
You
right.
know, you ain't building until you start pointing.
Yeah. I got you.
So it's great to be here. Glad to see you, Crib. So what's our topic for today?
It's a good one.
This reason I'm about to sip before we get into it.
It's a good one. Depends on who the listeners gonna be listening. And I think our subject today is about a man's emotions.
Interpreting
Oh yeah.
a man's
oh
emotions.
yeah. Interpreting a man's emotions.
You know, H-Town was one of my favorite groups. One of the songs, emotions make you cry sometimes.
Oh, that reminds me, boy. I can cry right there on a dime.
So if you crying on the dime, does that reflect real man's emotion, or is that crying on the man that you done programmed yourself to be able to do?
Nah, man. Of course it does.
So Craig, you want to start us out, or you want me to start us out? What's on your mind?
Interpreting a man's emotions. That is something that is, in my opinion, a lot of times it's taken for granted.
Mm-hmm.
And what I've seen a lot of times that some women think they really know the ins and outs of a man's emotions, and when they really don't.
Mm-hmm.
I've seen talk shows hosted by women talking to women about a man's emotion, and there's no men around to give their input.
Talk about it.
And but if you really want to truly understand a man's emotions, it's about having a conversation with that man and listen to him tell you about his emotions, because his conversations is really letting you know his emotions. And a lot of time we're not really listening to a man about his emotions.
I think sometimes it could be understand when you're having that conversation. It may not make sense to you.
Yeah.
You know, the ladies that may be listening, because the way I may explain something, it makes perfect sense to me when I'm explaining it. But at the same time, it's been an unspoken rule about a man showing their emotions, and it's been that the unspoken rule is that it's a sign of weakness.
Man, you've been reading my notes,
Yeah,
man.
I cheated. I cheated, player.
You've been reading my notes. And yeah, it is an unspoken rule. And that's why a lot of men are hesitant about sharing their emotions, because of that unspoken rule.
Now, let's tap into this unspoken rule for our listeners. What is the unspoken rule?
And my first main question is, who started the unspoken rules? And
Could
why?
it be That is a good question. Did society start the rule? Did our fathers start the rule? Like, where did it originate from? That's the question.
Because it's not a fair rule.
Nah, because I think too it comes to a point of oftentimes when men are stoic and emotionless, we're praised for it.
Yeah.
But as soon as we show any type of emotion, now today's society, last year's society, what they tell you, you're being sensitive. But that is the question. I wonder who, when you think about it, who set that rule in place?
Because this is some of the conclusions I have come to myself.
Mm-hmm.
I think if a lot of men that has already lost their lives
Mm-hmm.
or in jail right now, if they were allowed to share or have if someone had really taken the time to listen to them share their emotions, I don't think they would either be dead right now or locked up in jail, because there would have been someone who could actually help them, guide them to a better place, or steer them from doing something wrong.
I think, Crib, going back to what you're talking about, the men that's in jail or passed away or in certain situations, I think part of the repercussions not being able to share your emotions begin to turn into the other E word, ego.
Hmm.
So when I can't share my emotions because I feel like I will be labeled as sensitive, I hold my emotions in, which to drown out the emotions, I begin to boost up my ego. So when someone step on my shoe or feel that I'm disrespected, instead of having the correct emotion, I react to that situation
Yeah.
based off the conversion from emotion to ego.
Man, you said something big right there. Even though that word is only 3 letters,
Mm-hmm.
but it's very complex
Mm-hmm.
in a sense when it comes to your emotions. It
Mm-hmm.
really is.
My wife and I were talking one time, and kind of this is why this topic was so good too. We were watching, I think it was a show. I'm not gonna give them a shout out because they don't pay me, but it was something on TV we were watching, and that's what had us talking about the show, because the way the guy reacted on the show and the way it was interpreted
Uh-huh.
by the ladies that was in the room doing the conversation, I could relate to the guy, and my wife was like, "Why did he say it this way? Why didn't he say it that way?" But oftentimes, like when we are going through our range of emotions, I know me personally, I'll speak for me. I can't speak for all men out there. My one word answers
Hmm.
or 2 word answers, which the default mechanism is "I'm good."
Yeah.
What does "I'm good" to help shine some light on for the people that's listening? When you hear, when you say it or when another man say it, "I'm good," when somebody's asking, "How are you doing?" What does "I'm good" mean? Because, ladies, it can mean multiple things.
Okay. It depends on the gender that you're speaking with.
Hmm.
Um, you use the word ego. I know with if you, well, I'm gonna speak from my past experience. If it's dealing with another guy that you really, I say, don't trust, or you done with him, I'm
Hmm.
good.
Yeah,
Nah, I'm good.
yeah,
You don't want no more dealings with.
yeah.
If if it's with a female and you realize that she's not understanding your emotions and she's not really, taking time to listen to what you have to say, I'm good. I can't have this conversation with you anymore. I'm good.
So,
Let's just move on.
so "I'm good" can mean you're unplugging from that situation.
Yeah.
So, ah, so "I'm good" for a man is when a man is kind of setting his boundaries. So, ladies, if you hear a dude say "I'm good," he's setting his boundaries without announcing, "Hey, I'm about to set a boundary right here, and this is my boundary." We just gonna say, I'm good. I'm good. I don't. That mean I'm good can mean it's like a math problem. Solving for X. I'm good can mean I don't want to talk about this more anymore. I'm good can mean I'm through with this situation. I'm good can mean I'm good.
Yeah.
I'm good can mean keep playing. So I guess to help people interpret men's emotions, sometimes you got to ask a follow up question.
And this is something that I researched too. You better look at the man's body language.
Yeah, body language and tone.
Man, you really been looking at my notes.
Well, you know,
I was
my
just about to say.
background is cybersecurity. So anything that you would say, I'm good.
Yeah. Body language and tone.
Body language and tone. If it's I'm good without a smile on your face, leave that man alone.
And that's the part I'm talking about. Um, when women don't take the time to interpret a man's emotions, they're letting their ego take over them with their own emotions. Whereas most men, they will sit there and receive the female's emotions, the woman's emotions, and take in everything that she wants to give them. I'm not saying all men, but most men. But it's not always reciprocated on the other side.
Well, too, even if you take it from there, me and you homeboys.
Yeah.
If you tell me I'm good, I'm not asking no more questions. Because I know what I'm good means.
Yeah.
We're like, all right, I ain't gonna mess with DJ today. DJ, he dealing with Cribs, dealing with some things.
And you'll follow me later about
Yeah, I'll follow you up later. I'm not about to. What do you mean you good? You can't tell me what you good. What does that even mean? See, you're not even
it.
listening.
Hold up. You didn't change another tone. Or you talking about another race? What do you mean you're good?
No, I just said, what do you mean?
If you was another race, will you continue to ask me, what do you mean you're good?
Yeah, I'm gonna ask you, what do you mean you good? No matter what the nationality is, that's one of those unspoken words. I'm good. We just joking, so don't nobody get offended on the call. Let me ask you this then, and viewers, if you're listening on YouTube, feel
Yes.
free to jump in the chat. Um, is emotional suppression a defense mechanism? Yeah, I'm reading off my notes. Or a learned behavior?
Suppression, I don't think it's a defense mechanism. I think it's unhealthy.
You said unhealthy?
Yeah.
Yeah. Because we talking about men not being willing to share their emotions. Is it would you say it's unhealthy, but is it a possibility that this a suppression of how I truly feel? Because I'm not going to share my emotions, so I'm just going to hold everything in, which becomes unhealthy.
Yes.
Or is it I'm not going to share my emotions because I've been hurt before, I've been misunderstood, so from a defensive mechanism, I'm not going to share my emotions either. But either way it go, when you look at those two, in my opinion, they end up being what you stated,
Yeah.
an unhealthy situation.
Because eventually, from my perspective, I think at some point it's going to cause that person to explode.
Mm-hmm. And most of the time when that explosion happens, it's typically not at the opportune time, and it explodes when it's not at the person. It's not at the person's fault that you're dealing with at that time.
No, and it becomes a domestic situation.
Mm-hmm. Because I've seen some men who don't know how to healthily express their emotions,
Yeah.
so they suppress them on the W-2. Been talked about at the job, been handled a certain way by their
Yeah.
manager, and now when they come home, the things they couldn't say or react to at their workplace, they come in those emotions now, like you stated, that's been suppressed, explode on a loved one, and it's not your wife's fault, it's not your girlfriend's fault, it's not your brother's fault or the family member's fault, but you've been suppressing it the whole time.
Yeah.
And now, it goes back to one topic we had. I'm just gonna keep it real, or uh, anybody can get it.
Yeah.
And at that time, the person that's getting it is not the one that gave it.
And you made a very valid point right there at the workplace.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, we live in an era now that it's more common than during our parents' age that a man manager could possibly be a female. And so if he's working under a very dominant female who don't know how to articulate to a man because she's more ego driven by her power over a man, and he's dealing with that for 8 to 10 hours a day, then he's coming home to a wife or significant other who's have the same A-type style as his supervisor or boss. What you brought up earlier, he's suppressing this. He feels as though he don't have any outlet to do anything that he wants. Eventually, he's going to explode.
So, kind of in that realm that we're talking about, if we as men are taught, because I think part of the things that we're taught as kids growing up, we've probably heard it from our mom, we heard it from our aunts, we definitely heard it from our uncles and fathers that's been active, or our coaches. Stop all that crying, which is cool,
Yeah.
because I can't stand when I see a little boy and I'm a little kid.
Yeah.
That's a little boy that's always crying at everything, like, or they fall and then they looking for somebody to pick them up. No, that's how you learn to keep going. But
Yeah.
we can look at it as that we're all taught that from a male's perspective. If we're taught that, to hold it in, how do we come up with how are we supposed to let it out safely?
You know, how's the best way to explain this? Because things has changed so much
Mm-hmm.
from the way we were kids, and you brought up, like, I made a valid point. Whereas when we were kids, when you and I was little boys, we didn't cry over the little things. And I just had this conversation with my wife last week. Like, my grandson is 3 years old. He don't do all that whining and crying around me because I'm not going to allow that,
Mm-hmm.
because it's not going to be helpful for him later on down the road. And so now, how do we fix that today? Society, in my opinion, is still attacking man's emotion. You brought up earlier about watching a television show. When you watch most television shows or movies, the ones that I see, they play on men's emotions, and the emotions that I'm talking about making men look weak.
And it's two emotions that you see most predominantly in movies now. They show the weak man,
Yep.
and then they go to the total other perspective of the aggressive, violent man.
Yep.
So if people are learning behaviors from what they're watching on TV, you never see the even keel, well balanced man
Nope.
in no movies.
Nope.
And most people mimic what they see.
Exactly.
So if they're mimicking what television show that they spend the majority of the time watching, you got the crying man or you got the overly aggressive man. Now they go out in society and reenact what they've been programmed to do.
As much as we love seeing Denzel Washington act, what two movies that we talk about him acting in the most?
You talking about our cousins?
Yeah.
The number one they gonna name is either Training Day,
Mm-hmm.
American Gangster,
Those two right there.
and you could throw in the third one that can flip flop with American Gangster or Training Day gonna be permanent. But if you go on to flip flop a third one between American Gangster and Equalizer.
Yeah, the
Yeah,
Equalizer
you can flip
series.
flop that whole
Yeah,
series, and on those you see the aggressive man,
yeah,
and then John Q was great.
yeah. The fences where he was a father, where he was raising a son not to be weak.
Hmm.
I mean, yes, he did. He didn't do everything perfect as a father in there because that's real life. But he was teaching his son how to be a man in that movie. He
Hmm.
provided for his family. His oldest son keep coming back home asking for money, telling him not. No, you need to earn your way. Those type of things right there. But no, we're gonna hear about Training Day, American Gangster, and the Equalizer series.
Yeah, because when you think about society, we going back to what you were saying with your grandson. How do we, as men that are working or have working with younger men, working with our grandsons or nephews, and we're trying to instill the balance of emotions.
Yeah,
How do we go about doing that? Because yes, granted, our fathers and uncles taught us for the most part, stop all that crying,
yeah,
do this, do that, and some people say that's what has caused us not to be willing to show emotions.
yeah.
And then you see some of the newer age kids who are too emotional. And they give up on everything now, or they, if it doesn't go the exact way they want it to go, then you see it in college sports. You
Exactly.
make a roster, coach you hard. That's an old school coach. You get in your feelings, show too much emotions, then you transfer.
They doing it in professional sports too, not just college
Oh
sports.
yeah, but see that if you think about the professional sports age group now, they in that 19
Yeah,
to under 30 range, and are super duper emotional, especially basketball, always flopping.
yeah. Well, the question you ask, and for those who out there listening um, on the show, and this question, I mean, this answer not just for men, especially for men, but not just men, also for women. Um, we have to spend time with the younger generation. We have to really listen, and we have to, um, you know, receive the value that they bring.
Mhm.
Because a lot of time, uh, I know people that's older than I am still don't want to receive the younger generation's value what they have to bring,
Mhm.
because they do have value. And one of the things that the platforms or wherever that I'm working on, I let it be known that every voice has value, and it doesn't matter their age. I know the things that you and I are involved with, and our producer here that's on the show, the things that he and I are involved with, we're constantly working with people. I mean, 30 years or more younger than we are,
Mhm.
and we make sure that their voices heard, and we want to know what value they have to bring, and not just hear it, but we want to implement whatever they have to bring to the table. And so when you do that, I think the emotional feelings that people have, I think a lot of that will go away when when you allow people to bring their value.
And you kind of touched on something here that makes me ask this question, and this is a deeper question. How does cultural expectations make emotional honesty harder? Is it how we see men handle their emotions? Is it a cultural thing?
It could be. Not. It could be. Yes, it is. A lot of it does play effect on that.
Mhm.
Everybody want to be like what everybody's being a lot, being how they want to be like how everybody is being
Mhm.
or how they're living, instead of identifying their own self, their own past.
Because it made me think back to, going back to the I'm good. We kind of unpack what I'm good mean. Here's another one that I know some women that may be listening and wonder. When a man suddenly withdraws
You mean suddenly withdrawal in a conversation or
in a
just so?
conversation, in a relationship, or mainly, just a conversation period. Because say the conversation at home is not heated, but a crucial conversation. We use that.
Uh-huh.
And now in the conversation, the man suddenly withdraws from the conversation, which typically happens right after he say,
I'm
"I'm
good.
good."
I'm good.
I'm good. That's like the escalation path. It goes, I'm good to now I'm suddenly withdrawing.
Um,
What can they to help them understand us better? What does that usually what is that usually associated with in your mind? Whenever you've done it, and I know I've done it before, what does it associate with? Because we're trying to give the lady listeners a peek at what may be going on in our head, between our ears.
I don't think. I think she's hearing what he's saying, but she's not actively listening what he's saying.
Okay,
That's going to cause a man to withdraw.
so that's kind of the reaction. The withdrawal is the reaction to the interpretation of what the man thinks the lady is not doing.
Yeah, she's sitting there hearing what he's saying, but she's not listening, and so he's constantly repeating himself 3 or 4 times. In his mind, he's not saying out loud, "Oh, she ain't listening to me." Yeah, she just waiting. She was waiting for me to stop talking so she can get her word in.
So ladies, if you hear a guy say I'm good, and he follows up with the withdrawal, like I'm good, I don't want to talk about this no more. It's typically because he may feel that whatever y'all were talking about, his point is not being heard.
Yeah,
I can agree with that. And not that it's not being heard, I would say understood.
and this is another great statement right here, and I share this with my wife. Um, to really dive deeper into a man's emotions, just ask him, why do you think the way you think about whatever the topic's about?
To get him to unpack.
Yeah, that makes him know that she's really listening to me or wants to know more about me.
If that is the case, also when that conversation is taking place, her body language is important.
Yeah,
Because if you ask me that question, um, I gotta, yeah, I'll come back to that. But if you're asking me that question and I'm explaining why I look at it this way, don't sit there the whole time shaking your head no, like you in a disagreement, because I'm giving you the answer of what I thought about this.
exactly, exactly.
Because another thing that I think some people should be real conscious of, period, is when we talk about emotions and why some men don't share them, we have to ask ourselves: does he feel safe sharing that emotion?
I'm glad you brought that up. Um, and I'm gonna ask you this. Well, I'm gonna make this statement as we wrap up this talk right here, and that was a great wrap up question. When your man get to the point to share his information to you,
Mm-hmm.
it's not for you to go post whatever y'all talked about on social media. It's not for you to go and share it with your friends or family. That vulnerable moment is for you all. And all of us here on this platform today can go read people life stuff on social media
Mm-hmm.
all the time. And then on the comment section, it's about 600-700 people making comments about what that person just posted.
Mm-hmm.
And so that right there stops a lot of men for sharing their emotions with their significant other,
Or
because
sharing the real emotion.
their real emotions, exactly.
And I think too, with that being said, Crib, it's one of those things that at that time that that couple or that real emotion is being shared, that vulnerability is being shared. We also don't want to share it to be used as a trump card or a big joker in the spades conference, or a big joker to be win the next argument.
Yeah.
Because now, if I've had a vulnerability moment as a male and I'm explaining this, and I felt comfortable enough to trust it with you, The next time we have a disagreement or you want to win the next argument,
Yeah.
you bring that up, boop, or you get mad and want to. Because oftentimes I've seen couples or people, not only couples, but people get in disagreements and somebody's trying to win the disagreement.
Yeah.
So what do they do when they win the disagreement? They go low.
Yep.
But, I think a lot of, like we stated, a lot of men don't share emotions because they don't quite feel if it's a safe space. Or they don't know how to express that emotion.
Yeah.
And it comes out several different ways. And then you got to figure out, now she's responsible for sifting through it. Or even when we talking to our homeboys. Because ladies, we talk to some of our homeboys and they don't know how to share their emotions.
Yeah.
And I ain't talking about crying on my shoulder, but if this is what he's mad about, how can we work through this to where now the advice that I'm giving, if you seeking advice,
Yeah.
don't land on deaf ears. Because many of us think when we right, we right.
Yeah.
So ladies, ask your men or those males in your life,
Yes.
how can I help you feel safe enough to share your real emotions with me? You might be surprised at what he say.
Yeah.
Caribbean, got anything else?
Hey, not just women, men as well. We all need to be more active, being great listeners to what our significant others say to us, our loved ones, our kids, so that we can be a better enhancer to the people in our lives.
And when men start feeling safe enough to share emotions, everyone benefits.
Yes.
And what do we benefit from? Is when you like,
Ding,
you share,
ding.
and you subscribe
Subscribe.
to see that Sip and Converse have shared some emotions with you today. Until next
Yes.
time, make sure you go cop our merch, get you a tumbler,
Yes.
get you a shirt, click on the link, tell a friend, tell a friend.
Tell somebody.
See y'all next time.
Peace.
Peace.
Let's sip and converse. Let's sip and converse.
Let's talk about it.
Sip and Converse.